Hi, it's Lindsay from Collaborative Solutions. So I wanted to talk to you about my recent family trip to Australia. This is a trip that we had been planning for quite a while. We set off for just over 3 weeks to explore the whole coast of Australia, and we were super excited, had lots of things planned. We were going to go see some kangaroos on the beach, visit some koalas, do all sorts of hikes, and then I suddenly found myself having fairly severe chest pain in the middle of the night. And it came back again 2 days later. And I popped into the clinic to have it checked out as we were driving through a larger city, only to find myself being admitted to hospital for a week while we were in Australia. Now, to say that we were disappointed is an understatement. My family ended up sort of stuck in a town where there wasn't a ton to do while I was in hospital, waiting to find out if there was something severely wrong with me. They were testing me for heart issues or possible deep vein thrombosis from the flight. So we spent a couple of scary days until the test results started coming back that actually everything was completely fine, oddly enough. So grateful for that. But it got me reflecting on what steps help in building resilience. As many of you who follow me know, I've had lots of chances to practice this in my life, having lost many members of my family. And I was reflecting in the hospital on how I was able to bounce back from this hospitalization much more quickly than I think I would have been able to do many years back. And I was thinking about what sort of factors led me there. And I came up with 4 different things that I think help to build resiliency that I was not necessarily doing many years back. So the first thing was really allowing myself time to feel my emotions about the situation. So it's important to give ourselves that time. And a lot of us skip over that where, we say, oh, it's not a big deal, it's fine, I'm okay, because our society really sends messages that strength is always being okay. And I don't buy into that message. I think strength is in being able to be vulnerable. And I think that's part of what actually gets you true strength. So I had a day or two when I gave myself moments of sobbing with the nurses. I was upset. I was scared. I was scared something could be really wrong with me. I was scared that I might have to fly home in a not, with some sort of a medical issue and have to do a long flight like that. And I was also really upset that our trip had been interrupted and stressed for my kids and husband who were really stressed. And so I gave myself time to really feel that fear and feel that upset. So that's step number 1. Step 2 is giving yourself time to process those emotions in manageable chunks. So it's important, sometimes our emotions get to a cresting point where they just overwhelm us. And at a certain point, if we let our emotions overwhelm us to that extent, we're sometimes traumatizing ourselves by our emotions. It might be bringing up things from the past. So for me at the hospital, there were a lot of emotions coming up related to the death of my parents. I was upset that I didn't have a parent to call when I was in hospital. So it's important to let us process our emotions. But if you feel yourself getting to a point where it's getting so painful, you can use soothing strategies, calming strategies to bring yourself back down before you open up that door and let yourself feel those emotions again. So things like deep breathing, meditation, there's all sorts of different strategies that can help us to regulate our emotions in difficult times. So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is really trying to keep things in perspective. So yes, I was absolutely upset that our trip was interrupted and all of the stuff that came with that. At the same time, I reminded myself that, I was in a country where the healthcare is really, really good in Australia. I spoke the language. I could completely understand what the doctors were saying. We also hadn't paid for our flights. We had flown on points. So I was very grateful that we hadn't spent $7,000 to end up in hospital. And in the end of it all, when they declared I was fine, I was completely grateful that I was healthy, that there was nothing wrong with me. To compare, having my health to a week's inconvenience in a hospital made it feel less significant and less disruptive in my life. So you can't skip too quickly to keeping things in perspective. You have to let yourself feel the emotions first, but then don't get stuck in that. Also use our thoughts to put things in perspective, because our thoughts can really control our emotions. So that's number 3. Number 4 is letting go of what we can't control. So my first day or 2 was spent scared and worrying about how we were going to, there was chances they were going to be sending me home if there was something wrong with me, that we wouldn't be able to continue our vacation. And I was really anxious about announcing that to the kids and dealing with their reactions. And I was upset about it myself, as was my husband. And at some point I had to tell myself that I was in a situation that was beyond my control. My health was first and foremost the most important, and anything else coming from that, I couldn't influence the doctor's decisions about what was in my best interest. I couldn't influence what day I was going to get out. So really staying stuck, frustrated, and upset about all those things that I couldn't have any control over would really just not keep me in a happy place. This is a really tough piece, but working to let go of what we can't control, it brings such freedom. I have learned this from the Cree who I work with up north. I find they're so good at letting go of things they can't control, and it's really been modeled to me, and I've done my best to take this in, and I really do feel like it helped me to move forward from this hospitalization, happy and grateful that I still had 6 days to explore. And yes, those days ended up being stressful because our time was crunched and we had to drive a lot, but I'm grateful. You know what? We still got to see those kangaroos on the beach. I still got to go to Australia. Didn't turn out as I planned. Still got to see lots of beautiful things. And guess what? Australia will always be there. I'm grateful that my health is still also here for now. So thanks for watching, guys. I really would love to hear what steps you take to build resilience in your life, or what kind of things you've been through where you've used your resiliency skills. So I would love that if you would share that in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Lindsay Lapaquette, Collaborative Solutions. Bye, guys.